It's done! The macaw is complete! It's been a hot minute. I think like a month since the last time that I recorded. Time kind of got by a little bit. It's been, the world has been crazy. My life has been crazy. Everything's crazy right now. So I think that that played a lot into why I have not recorded in a really long time. So I have a lot to cover today, and I made a slight list so I don't forget too much. I'm jumping right into it. I have finishes. I have, well, you saw one already. I have finishes. I have one new start, and I have haul. Yeah, wait for that. And I'm going to plan on giving you guys a little bit of a WIP parade before my plans video, because I don't know when I will be recording again. So let's get to it. Okay, first, I already showed it, but I'm gonna show it again. So this is Macaw. Macaw is complete. I posted a little bit of a sneak peek in the like YouTube, I don't know, posting thing, and then also on my Instagram, but he is done. So I guess this is where I say I have a trip planned on Monday. So in what? Today's Thursday. Like 3-ish days where I will be going back to San Antonio if all goes well. So I plan to hopefully get this guy framed, and we shall see. The reason for the trip back home is because, here, I'll leave this up so you guys can continue staring at it, because I've looked at it for like a million times, or I've looked at it a million times. You guys can do it. Let's see, what was I gonna say? I already forgot. Oh, reason for the trip. So, my husband got really bad island fever like 2 weeks ago and got really homesick. And I'm homesick too, but it was like really bad for him. And I think that he just, he's very spontaneous. So like when he gets an idea and he's ready to do something, he like goes for it immediately. So he immediately like started looking for flights, and we found a flight that's going out this Monday. So we should be in San Antonio for about 3 weeks, and hopefully we'll be able to get back. There's a chance that I may get stuck in San Antonio, which isn't terrible, because I have my friends and family there. Now, granted, I will not be partaking in like going out to restaurants or any big public gatherings or anything like that, because I myself am traumatized. And I have been socially isolated for 3 months now. I've been on this island for 6 months. So I really, to go back and be like, let's go to the mall. No thank you. I will stay home, but in a different home. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna have to edit a lot of start and stop, because I'm having like every I'm having every interruption known to mankind between phone calls and messages, and I have a repair guy coming in to fix my shower. It's been a month. See, like that's island life. And between the shower explosion, we had a super torrential storm, I think that same weekend, and we had a massive leak in our master bedroom, which has been resolved since the month. That one was like a very important, needed to get fixed right away, because we're in summertime, and if you live in Florida, or like southern Florida, I guess, you'll understand that it rains every single day, but not all day long. It's just like 30 minutes of like massive rain. There could be like sunshine, and then all of a sudden a black cloud, and then just like looks like the world's gonna end, and then all of a sudden the sun comes back out. So rain in the summer is like super common, and we needed to get our leak fixed. So So that's done. But our shower is getting done here in a little bit. So I'm trying to like record before the guy comes in, and I'm also trying to record while like doing the dishes, because gross, how can you have like dishes and like a worker come in and be like, woman, you haven't done anything in the house. Anyway, okay, I'm rambling. Okay, second finish. Almost finish. So in this month and during Stitch Mania, Stitch Zenia, I started Unicorn Tapestry. Let me get closer. So I started Unicorn Tapestry, I think it was, hold on, weekend 2? I don't even remember anymore. But I had been working on Unicorn Tapestry pretty not on and off, but like consistently, but not like set down and consistent. So I have finished it since then. This is by Tiny Modernist, and then let me go through some of the details with you guys. So I'm gonna flip this. Okay, that's better. So I flipped the camera because sometimes what happens is I feel like the detail and the quality is lost with the front-facing camera. So here we go. So this is Tiny Modernist Unicorn Tapestry. It was a Nashville market release this year, and believe it or not, I did not buy it during market. I think it was Park Hopper Bart, and I don't remember who else. Someone else was like starting it, and I saw the unicorns and like the flowers and everything, and I loved it, fell in love with it. So I'll put in a picture so you can see what it was supposed to look like, because I did do some modifications. So number one, the biggest thing that I did was I changed the fabric. Turquoise fabric, and I switched it out for this very dark, it's coming up a lot lighter because I'm against the window, like the window's behind me, and it is 32 count Mystic by Picture This Plus that I had in my stash. So I changed a couple of things. That gray color that you see in the poles, and you'll see a little bit in this bird, and then you'll see it again in this bird, that is a shade lighter. So I think the called for, and I'll double check, but I think the called for was like a 714 maybe, and then I pulled a 713 because I didn't have a 714, but I have those DMC color cards. Ooh, I can do a little bit about that. So I have one of those DMC color cards with the threads, and so just looking at it, it was totally fine. Anyway, so that was one modification. Another thing that I did was this dog right here. I charted him to look like gazpacho. So I chopped off his tail, I made his snout a bulldoggy round snout, and I made his ear stand up. I think he did pretty good, honestly. Like, he's super freaking cute. You can see a little better there. Some other things. So on this tree, I accidentally had put lemons instead of oranges. So I had to rip that out and put it all in. And then, what else did I do? Oh, this one. So this flower is supposed to be a different shade of orange, but I left it. And then all of the eyeballs are supposed to be that gray color, but I liked the way that the fabric was peeking through. So all of these eyeballs on these animals and the unicorn, so you'll see his eyeball too, and the fox, and everybody's eyeballs are not stitched, is the fabric. And same with these trees. So these trees had, where it's all open, it had like a different color coming through, but I didn't want it so solid. So what I did was, again, I left it with the fabric. And then the rug. So this rug right here was navy blue. And since I am stitching on a dark blue fabric, what I did is I just left it. I extended the border all the way around so that it would look closed off. And as you can see here, I ran out of this light green. I think it was 143. I'm gonna be so, like, I'm gonna laugh if these are all correct numbers that I'm telling you, because I did not write them down, but it just goes to show that I like memorize random stuff. So I'm missing just this last little loop and this little loop, and then it's completely complete. Complete. I already went through my orts, I went through all of my other projects, I went through my thread stash, I went through everything, and I don't have it. But since I am going to San Antonio, hopefully, then I will just pick up a couple skeins as like a backup for future projects and finish that up, and this is done. But I still consider it done because it's done. So yeah, this is Unicorn Tapestry. So now let me give you kind of like my stitcher review of Unicorn Tapestry. It's not an easy stitch. It's not a stitch that I would say is soothing, calming, relaxing, like you can just sit down and just stitch away. It requires quite a bit of counting because of the mille fleurs, the 1,000 flowers all over it. And if you can see, like each little flower has at least 2 colors, whether it be like the outside and the inside be different colors, or within just one has like, that one has 3, has the outer, the inner, the stem. So a lot of color changing and a lot of, like I said, just like, it's a lot of counting. And then the other thing is, due to the fabric that I chose, it was hard sometimes to gauge the like squares, like the over 2. So it was not a relaxing stitch. What will I do with this? Well, so ideally what I would want to do with this is get it framed, and it would go into an office. This is very much my personality. It's fun, it's fantasy, it's bright, it's kind of crazy and everywhere. And I like to decorate subtly. My office is that way too. I like to have like bright and motivating, inspiring spaces. I like color and just unicorns and fantasy and just living in this like perfect happy world. And especially now with how the world is, I need all of the little happy moments that I can get, because it's been, and you guys can all relate to that, it's been a hell of a year, just a hell of a year. So happiness in a cross stitch piece would be Unicorn Tapestry. So that's kind of my review. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to talk a little bit more, drop it, and I will address that later. Okay, stitcher review. I love this piece. I love the realism. I think I've talked about this before. Would I stitch this again? Likely not. And that leads me into another thing. So, relaxing piece, absolutely. Even though it doesn't look like it, there's very few spaces of confetti. There's a lot of solid color stitching, and solid colored stitching is very necessary, in my opinion, for certain moments of your life or your day. You need, I don't say you, but my opinion is, sometimes I crave sitting down and working with one color, not having to count very much, or just like minimal counting and just crossing off my chart. And this did it for me. This did it very much for me. Every page finish was very rewarding. Would I do this? Maybe. I'm not opposed to it. I think that I need another full coverage in my life, and I have plans for that. But I think that Macaw and I We had a really good run. We had a great adventure together. He was a very important part of my move in Bahamas and starting to do a new life where I was not working like I used to. So he's, you know, he's a piece that I will definitely treasure, and he's big. I mean, not big like a Haid big, but look, his head is like the same size as my head. It's a really big parrot. Parrot? Macaw. So, there we go. On that note, there's always debate about 18 count and how many strands for good coverage. I want you to take a look at how thick this is. Ah! Let's drop it on. He is a thick piece, but there is no coming through. There's lint because I dropped it and gazpacho here probably, but there's no fabric coming through this. So if you're thinking about stitching on 18 count and you need coverage, 2 strands is perfect in my opinion. I have haul. How do I have haul? Because I have good stitchy friends. So I purchased 2 Rika bags a long time ago. And well, when I say a long time ago, maybe a month ago, and she graciously sent them here because I will discuss that. So let me go ahead and show the bags, right? So her bags are freaking amazing. I love them. They're so pretty. Super well done. You have vinyl, they're really big. They fit my whole project in there. Nice little label. So there's the first one. This one's like pineapple-y. I think it's rifle paper. I don't know. But perfect. And then the second one, which actually has my new start, is this blue one. This one I call like literally the House of Stitches stash bag. Because if you know Rika, Rika loves blue and white. And it houses. So those are houses. Okay, so let me talk about why I say I have great friends. So, just to give you an idea, and same thing with like the DMC that I was missing for Unicorn Tapestry's finished. Like I had a lot of people ask me, do you want me to send it to you? I don't have a mailbox. I honestly don't even really have an address here. So addresses, the way that they work here is you have an address, but nobody uses addresses. Like if you want to Google map something, it doesn't work that way either. I live on a street, and how it works here is like they'll talk about organizations, or like properties on the island. So for example, they'll ask you, where do you live? And so you could say West Bay Street, but West Bay Street literally goes from the east side of the island to the west side of the island. Like it's one long street. That doesn't help. So the other thing you could say is you live like in an organization. So there are, on the west side of the island, the big ones would be Old Fort, Lyford Key, and then as you move down, there's Palm Shores. So you would say, like, I live at Palm Shores. And then, like, you would say Palm Shores, Ocean Villa 3. And that's kind of your address. So, like, when you go somewhere and they ask you for your address, you do that. But I don't have a mailbox. And if you want a mailbox, you could open up a mailbox, but mail just doesn't work here either. Okay, so that's on mail and addresses. To get something here, I have to use an import service, so a courier. And on top of that, the Bahamas has import taxes, like import duties on products. But each product has its own tax. So clothing, which I got clothes because I didn't think I was gonna go back to the States, so I imported clothes. Clothing is 30%. So during Memorial Day, there was a lot of sales. And mind you, I can't get clothes here. Like the clothes here, apart from we're in quarantine and malls and stuff aren't open to go do that stuff, the clothing here is not well made and is very expensive and not my style. So no clothing here. So what I did was to kind of get me out of the funk of negativity and just, you know, sadness and just isolation and stuff. During Memorial Day, there were a lot of sales going on, and really good sales, so 50 to 60%, right? So what I did was I purchased a lot of clothes from brands that I already know my size, so that's not an issue. And you have to tack in to your head the import duty. So if I were, well, actually I can do the same thing with my furniture. So I had imported, I think in February, and I think I talked about it, a TV stand. The TV stand was from Wayfair, and it was $150. So this is a real life scenario. $150 TV stand. The import tax on furniture, I think is 30%, just like clothing. So you send them the receipt or your invoice of your purchase, and then they will calculate how much the import duty is that you have to pay on top of the purchase. So everything that you put in or you bring in is going to have a specific duty depending on this list. So furniture and clothing is 30%. From there, you have to tack on the service of the courier. So for the TV stand, and for anything, I think the service is like $15. So from there, they calculate the weight and they charge that too. And I think that it's like $1.75, something like that. Let's round it to $2 per pound or per size of like the package. And they go obviously with which is going to be more expensive. So if it's heavier than it is big, then they'll go with the weight. If it's bigger than what it is heavy, then they'll go with the size. They never lose. So you tack that on. And then after all of that, you tack on the VAT, value added tax, VAT, which is basically, for me, in my head, sales tax, which I want to say, I can't give you a specific amount, but I think it's another 15%, so on top of everything. So my $150 TV stand now, here in the Bahamas, after import and duties and service and everything, just became a $350 TV stand. Everything that I get, I calculate it to be double. But here's the kicker. So people are like, oh my gosh, like that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that, right? Because I can't find a TV stand here that is something that I would like for less than $2,000. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. So when we were looking for a TV stand, and it's just like a simple console, like I think I've shown it, I may insert a picture. So just a simple console. The one that was like my style, decent, nothing fancy, not made of gold, but in a store is $2,000. And yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to import it and put it together and you do all of that, you're going to want to get as much money out of it as possible. But the value of that TV stand is not worth it. So I'd rather pay double for my Wayfair than drop $2,000 on something that I really didn't even love to begin with, but it's just available. Whole loop around back to Rika bags. So knowing all of this, I said, I'm gonna go through the list of things, and the list of things, school bags are tax-free. So what did my friend Rika do? I said, Rika, can you do me a favor? And she was like, what? And I said, can you put in your invoice when you bill me, school bag, because that's tax-free. So she was like, yeah. And so then I said, I'm gonna use this and test it out to see if I can, one, get away with sticking other things in packages like floss and I don't know, other stitchy stuff to get me by, and see how much it would cost. So a Rika bag, I wanna say it's like 50? Yeah, it's like 50. So tax-free. When I did all of that, and I didn't take into consideration the processing, the levy fee, 12% of a duty and stamp tax, another 12% of, so just taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes, to pick up my two bags that were each $50, came out to be $44.86. So I could have gotten another Rika bag. So my attempt at importing, oh, and they opened everything up. Everything. So I said never mind. I won't do that again. But, so I did that, and then the other thing is I am going to be, not restarting, but stitching on Athena, Goddess of Wisdom, which you'll see in a little bit during my WIP parade. And I had bought these Splendor Rainbow Gallery silk packs, which have, so this one is Silk Card 2, so SC2, the blush porcelains. I got 2 of those. And I got the bronze porcelains because if you haven't seen her, you should check her out. Cross Stitch with Luda. She does beautiful 1/1 or sometimes 2/1. I think she does more 2/1 Mirabilia skin. And she has done some conversions, which I have talked about before, that in my Athena, it's very blocky. So I'm trying to fix her skin. And so we're gonna try to fix skin with these and some conversions that I had learned through Luda. But I didn't think that I was going to be in San Antonio so soon, so I imported these guys. And floss, I think thread is also 30%. Yeah, pretty sure. So I got these guys and clothes. And oh, the clothes thing, so in the sales that I got, all of my clothes were like 50 to 60% off. So when you tack in the 30%, blah, 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 I still paid less than full price if I had bought it in the States, but obviously I can't get any clothes here, and I needed something new in my life. That is all of that. New start. Why did I do a new start? I don't know. Again, I binge watched a lot of Cross Stitch with Luda. So she does a lot of dimensions kits, and I had dimensions kits, and so I just was like influenced to start one. So I started this Gold Collection Petites toy shop, which I've had in my stash for like a really, really, really long time, and then I had pulled it out to do like a stash parade with you guys, and then when I saw it again, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it, I need to do it, so I started it. So this is where I am at for that. And I even recorded for you guys because, so I'm stitching this in a hoop. This Aida is much softer than it was. And I'm going to insert my commentary on how I got it to be this soft and straight and workable right now. I figured this would be a recordable moment because I am experimenting. So I have just started this Dimensions Gold Petite, the toy shop, which I'm sure I'll show you, but I wanted to give you a little bit of insight on what I'm doing with the packaged Aida, or Ida. Aida? I don't know which one. I guess I've never thought about it until this second. Anyway, so when I got this kit and I took out the Aida, that's how I'm going to say it for this video, it was so hard that I could throw it across the room and possibly decapitate someone. So I had originally put it into a frame, but it was really, really, really hard fabric. So I had this like random urge in the middle of the night while I was stitching to dunk it in water. I had only had, so I've stitched on it more since the underwater dunking. But what happened was I know that these kits you can wash, so I wasn't too scared. And if it was going to get ruined, it was not a big deal because it was only a couple of days of stitching and this kit is not out of print. So I could essentially buy one really cheap on Amazon. It was no big deal. Anyway, dunked it into water and it just completely like melted in a good way. But then as I was drying it, I was air drying it, I noticed this like tacky, sticky residue. You can already hear who's coming. Hi, booger. Okay, so what happened was, okay, so I blow dried it everything was fine. I had some wrinkles in it, no big deal. Then I put it back into a hoop, and then I come back out, and this is where we're at. Now, believe me that this, even though it looks still super stiff, is light years softer than what it originally was. So I'm definitely going to, from here on out, take the dimensions kits that are made in China with like the ridiculously stiff aida and just dunk it in water or pre-wash it before stitching. And I have my iron ready to go because I want to see if I can get this ironed out, because this guy's getting put away for a little bit and I'm going to work on something else. So see you soon. Ironing for now. You can still see clearly the hoop mark, but at least it's not standing up on its own in its hoopness. If you're wondering how long I left it in the hoop, I literally just put it in to stitch for a little bit and then took it out. So definitely with these kits, I am going to wash them after I'm done stitching it, so that I can get all of the wrinkles out, melted out. And I've heard several times that you can do that with these made in China because it's all color fast, so it should be okay. And like I said, since it's the Dimensions Gold Petite, everything should be okay. And if it isn't, I won't cry in my sleep. Okay, see you later. Bye. So what better gift to give you guys for waiting a full month to listen to me again, which thank you for coming back again, then a WIP parade. Yeah, Gazpacho, a WIP parade. He's very camera shy today. He doesn't want to be here. So I'm gonna go through my WIPs. I don't have that much. I'm not like a 95 whipper. But I want to go through my WIPs and my plans, and then I think that that will be it for today. Okay, so let's start. Let's go in chronological order with the oldest WIP. My oldest WIP right now is Zenia. I think I haven't shown this since my first Flosstube, which I will never watch, ever, because I don't want to know what it was like. So for those of you who are binge watching me right now, you guys are troopers for sticking through and making it this far, because I just don't even want to know. I don't think I'm going to watch like any of these ever again. I watch them when I edit and then gone. Anyway, so Zenia by Nora Corbett. I started Zenia September of last year. That sounds right. And here she is. She has 1/1 skin. I think this is the first time I did 1/1. And honestly, she's pretty far along. Yeah. I need to do her leg, the rest of her dress, and then the border, the beading, which isn't very much, and then she's done. So I just need to sit down with her. And I plan on, oh no, her bead is crooked. I plan on, oh no, another bead. I plan on fixing these beads. They're all mushed. I plan on finishing her this year. So she will come back out and get finished this year. Fabric, no earthly idea. I know that it's a lugana. I know it's a 32 count. I know it's Picture This Plus. No clue. Okay, next oldest. The next oldest is Tempting Tees by Tempting Tangles Design. Say that 10 times fast. And this one I started October last year, maybe. And the reason I started it is, I think I mentioned the story before, is in my LNS in San Antonio, Stitches from the Heart, they had 56 count Parchment by Weeks Dye Works, and they were like, oh my gosh, look at this fabric. Like, who could ever stitch on that? No one. And I was like, I want to try. So I picked that project for this. And this project is, oh my gosh, look at how tiny these little X's are. Hold on. I apologize for it not being pressed, but it was an impromptu. Look at how tiny. These little tiny little crosses. They're so tiny. So this, believe it or not, is 1/2. Not 1/1. They are tiny, I think. Well, I'm looking at it at the same time. Yeah, it's really 1/2. And I stitched on this during my Euro trip. This guy came with me. I have all of the called for over-dyed floss. You can see the variegation and the masala. It's really hard to get variegation in this because it's so tiny, but it does show in some, like in the big letters or big words. But yeah. So this is another plan, pull it back out. I don't think I'll get a finish on this year, if I'm being 100% honest with myself. It's a really big piece, and I have to be very much in the mood to stitch on it. But I have, look, and I even have a needle stuck in here. I have had a lot of itchiness to pull this back up and work on it. So this actually, now that I say that, may go to San Antonio with me. I had to change that angle there. It's an easy-ish stitch in that it's one color that's variegated and you can work on one letter at a time. It's just words, or the like teapot is pretty simple. So the only difficult part is the sanity of stitching on this. I don't know what I was thinking. I haven't seen this in a really long time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world? What was I thinking? But this will be really nice once it's finished. So this may go to San Antonio with me, because now I have to plan on getting stuck in San Antonio. But at least I'm stuck with my cross stitching. Guys, my haul. Funny story. Not funny story, very embarrassing story. So I've been here for 6 months with no stores and very little purchases. The most purchases that have like arrived here is in this last month. So guess what happens? When you online shop and you click buy and you click buy and you click buy, and then you like have this inkling like, oh, you know what, I'm running out of fabric, and I have no idea what I have in San Antonio because I don't physically see it and I haven't seen my purchases in 6 months. You go on spending sprees and rampages, and when you're stuck in a house all day long and you don't do anything with your life except be on your phone and watch Flosstube, and you can turn into a spending addict very fast. Hi, my name is Rocío, and I am a spending addict. So this is what happened. My dad was like, Rocío, I don't know how you're gonna get all of this stuff back to the Bahamas. Make sure that you bring an extra suitcase. And I was like, I can't, like, in my head, I knew that I had bought a lot of stuff, but when you think it's just floss, or it's just fabric, or it's just charts, like they're just small things. And they hadn't opened up all the stuff, so it was just a lot of packaging and fabrics of the month for 3 different people. I have 3 fabric of the month clubs. That's not okay. I hired my sister, Athena, to go and organize and open up all my packages, and we were on FaceTime and we organized everything so that I could get an idea of what there is. You guys, it took her 4 hours. 4 hours. After the 4-hour crisis, I have basically shredded all of my cards. I haven't really shredded them. I went on a complete spending freeze because I can open my own cross stitch shop by myself with the amount of stuff I have. I know for a fact that I will not be able to bring it all back to the Bahamas. So my plan is to make a WIP list and a plan list for the next year and stick to it and only bring the stuff necessary for that, plus some extra projects. That's it. I have a problem, but it's been resolved. Okay, next WIP. This is another one that I can't wait to get back to. This is Santa's Magic by Mirabilia. And I guess I'll have to insert a picture. He is on 32 count lugana. Don't remember the name, so I will write it here. His face is 1/1. He is pretty far along. He is definitely my plan finish for the end of this year, beginning of next year. Because he's amazing. I'm sorry, he's amazing. I'm sorry, not sorry. Some projects I do and I'm like, this is one of them, where I'm like, wow. If you have this in your stash, please start it. It's spectacular. Okay, that's my PSA. So yeah, Santa's Magic, I started, it was Christmas stitching for last year, so I would say November and December. I even think I started it in San Antonio. Yeah, December. Okay, so those are my WIPs from 2019 that carried over to 2020. And now I will start with my WIPs that I'm working on that started in, my starts for 2020 and WIPs still. So my first one is, it's upside down, is Athena, Goddess of Wisdom. And her face is a little off now because I ripped some of the stitches out because I need to fix her face. I don't like the blockiness of the colors. I want it to be a little bit more blended and smooth. I'm picky that way. She has a lot to go because she is a big piece. I do not plan on finishing her this year. She will probably be a next year finish. And I found out that the fabric that she's on is 32 count Feldspar by Picture This Plus. I had been saying like unknown, unknown, unknown until I think I was talking to Rika and she like sent me a picture or something of a fabric and I was like, wait, that fabric looks exactly like Athena. She was like, it's Feldspar by Picture This Plus. I was like, oh, it just like bling. That's exactly what it was. So Feldspar by Picture This Plus. And now we go to what I've been kind of working on. So after Mania and Tiny Modernist, Unicorn Tapestry, and Macaw and everything, I have taken like a stitchy break. I'll stitch like 10 to 15 stitches a day, max. And I'm really stressed out about my traveling. I'm really stressed out about the world. I'm really stressed out about life. Another big bomb that was kind of dropped on me in these past like 2 weeks is the possibility of us moving again. So I just have so many things going on in my head and life, just my personal life and my professional life and the world life. It's a lot. So I haven't been in the right headspace to even really sit down and stitch, let alone record or pop into Instagram or those things, because it is okay to not be okay. It's very okay to not be okay, as I'm talking about and showing. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't even know. I'm the kind of person that when I don't like emotions. I'm not an emotional person. I very much bury my emotions and I put on a mask and I truck through. That only lasts so long until you just like have to process your emotions and like what you're going through. Me, myself, when I'm processing emotions, it's a very isolated journey. It's a very alone thing that I like to do. I recluse. I completely unplug. I am not like an active person in social media. In my personal life, like if you look at my personal Instagram, like I haven't posted anything probably in like 8 months. And now with like the cross stitch community, I very much recluse. I just recluse. I can't do it. And you have to do mental health over and your health, right? Over social media and over a lot of things. So everyone processes things in very different ways, and that's how I process my things. Is it right? Is it wrong? It's right for me. So if I don't post or I don't record a floss tube or I don't talk or, you know, do those things, it's because I have to work things out on my own first. And then when I'm in a good place and I like have worked out through all my stuff, then I can get back on and continue forward. But it's just been, like I said, a combination of a lot of things. Where did that come from? Oh, stitching 15 stitches a day. So this is Birds to the Boughs. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is Birds to the Boughs by Lindy Stitches. And I talked about it last time. I've made quite a few color conversions. I've had people ask me for them. Yes, I will email you all of my color conversions, anything. This is very similar to, I have it here, her actual colors. I just brightened them up like 2 shades. That's it. It's the same color scheme. I did not go crazy. And this is on 32 count Lugana in the colorway Carnival. And I love it, but I just haven't. This is a very easy geometric, sit down, pick a color, work through it, put it away. And I can, like my mind and my thoughts and my racing and everything, I can't even focus on stitching. That's how out of whack I am. Oh my goodness. And then that leads me to the last one, which I showed you. Toy Shop by Dimensions Petite, which I don't think I'm gonna pull this out in a while. Maybe I'll take it to San Antonio and work on it. I don't know. And those are my current WIPs. Those are my current WIPs. So, plans. Plans. Okay, plans can change, but these are my current plans. I had to take them off on my phone because I have them in a note. Plan. So, I don't have like a time frame or like, and I have ideas of when I want to work on this stuff, but I don't know exactly. So it's kind of like the remainder of the year plans / 2021 beginning plans. I like to finish things. So my current WIPs that I would like to finish would be Zenia for sure, Santa's Magic. Yeah, Zenia, Santa's Magic. Those 2 I want to finish. But I don't think that I will be stitching on them right now. So how am I going to finish them if I'm not going to be stitching on them? Don't know. Then I have the Tempting Tees, Athena, Birds to the Boughs, Boughs. And the Dimensions Toy Shop. I want to work on all of them. All of my WIPs I want to work on. New starts is more fun. That's the more fun. Okay, I've been talking about this new start for like a million years. I am dying to start her. You don't understand the level of death, how much I want to start her. Fairy Idyll, you don't. This is one of my, if not my favorite piece by Mirabilia. It's Fairy Idyll. She needs to start. and her fabric is in San Antonio, and I'm going back to San Antonio. So she's fully kitted, and I don't know if you remember, but I had fabric for her, and thank goodness Rika was like, the fabric that you have is not going to be big enough for her. And she was 100% right. So then I ordered a different fabric. If that fabric doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. But it's going to work. So she is a planned new start, 100,000, 50 trillion %. Yes, new start. Okay, another one, which I don't have here. So these are not purchases that I have made in the last 6 months. Imagine that. These are purchases that I have made before that I don't have here because I left it in San Antonio thinking that I was going to go back at some point, which now I am, hopefully, and I was going to bring it back to New Start. So I don't have them, so I'll insert pictures. I bought back October, November of last year, the Thomas Kinkade Disney kit for the Lion King. If you need to know one thing about me is I'm a Disney nerd, but my movie is the Lion King. And I even walked down the aisle to Can You Feel the Love Tonight? The Lion King. So I have this and I have not opened it or started it or anything. I'm waiting. It's a start. It's a start. It's going to be a 2020, 2021 project. Same with Fairy Idyll. Those are done, sealed, set in stone. Then this one is Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is another getting it, starting it, having to do it. And this is at the fault of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I watched a Flosstube from her last year at some point, and I saw it and I had to have it, and I have it. It's fully kitted. It's at my parents' house. Needs a start. And then the last one was kind of like a unicorn chart or kit chart as of recently. And I hope that this doesn't like entice you too much. So I became a member of the Thomas Kinkade cross stitch group on Facebook and was crazy influenced because back when these Disney kits were like all over Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Joann's, everywhere, and I never purchased one because I was like, oh, the picture on it looks really pixelated. I don't think that that's gonna come out really good, blah, blah, blah. Then I see like WIPs and completed projects in this group and I'm like, wow, those are amazing. So one of them that I'm like, wow, that's amazing and I would want it in my house is this one, which is really hard to find. So back in February, I watched it on eBay twice. There were 2 listings of this kit. This kit was sold at the Disney parks and is completely out of print and has been like on the rise recently because I think someone posted about it and then they posted a completed picture and it just completely influenced everyone in that group to go out and hunt it down. So this kit, there were 2 that were listed on eBay like back in February, and I saw them because I'm on eBay all the time, or was, not anymore. I was. Remember, I'm a new person. And I didn't even care to purchase these. Like, no, I had no inkling, nothing. Then come April, maybe? April or, yeah, it must have been April, that I saw it stitched or in progress or something, and I was like, I need it. It's the happiest place on earth. I am not the happiest person right now. I need that. You hear the snoring? That's my dog. So I needed it. Then I put it on like my saved list on eBay to see if it was gonna pop up again. So like, oh, those things pop up all the time. They don't pop up all the time. Not when you're looking for it. It's like that dress that you're looking for. You're like, I need this dress. And when you're looking for it, you don't find it. Then the event happens and then you go back and they're everywhere. That happens to me all the time. So I watched one and it went to like $340, like way out of my budget, way out of my like willingness to buy. Then I posted on like every group on Facebook under the sun in search of like, I'm looking for this chart or kit. The difference is, so the kit has DMC. So no big deal. It has a Stony Creek button, like it was an exclusive that's like made out of polymer clay looking with like glitter and stuff. And honestly, for me, I don't love it. So it was okay if I didn't have that, because then I was just going to replace it with another Tinkerbell charm. And so I was willing to just get the chart. Well, after many people throwing like, oh, you can find it on Pinterest or you can find it over here, and no, you can't. A lady finally contacted me and was like, I have the chart. So the chart is at home, it's ready to go. I reached out to Leslie to see if she could get me a fabric, which hopefully can be done. If not, then I'll have to hunt for something, but that's getting kit and that's getting started right away. Project done, and I ordered and is delivered this charm, which is like a cute little gold charm. That would be cute and hanging up. So yeah, so that's another one that I have to get done. So that is enough, because those are two, like the Lion King is a full coverage. The Disney Castle is a big piece, and it's a full coverage. Fairy Idyll is a huge project. Athena's a huge project. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I have deleted notifications from Stash Unload. I have stopped saving any more things on eBay. I'm not watching anything else. I will never buy, I'm not buying any more fabric because I have enough fabric to last me a few years. So Stitch from Stash. Overdyed floss, I have enough to literally open up my own shop, so I can make substitutions there, and I am just good to go there. Project bags, Rika, you already got all that covered, and I am done tapping out. So, like I said, 6 months of purchases, 4 hours of sorting, and the inability to bring all of that back here is a nice little wake-up call to say, you're spending way too much. Now, with a tentative move in the works that also, I have no time frame, don't ask. I have no idea what my life is right now. I don't know. I just know that it would be a move, and it would be a move off island. That's all I know at this point in time. And it's an if. It's possible, maybe. So there's nothing set in stone. But so much uncertainty is a lot. So here I'm going to close out. And I'm going to close out by saying, spread happiness, spread love. Be nice. Be a nice person, because there are a lot of ugly, mean people right now. A lot. We need to all come together and love each other, and we need to live in a world of unicorns and puppies and happiness and Disney. I think that we're moving forward to a better place. I do. I am a very open and welcoming person. I don't care what you look like, what your religion is, if you are a good person, that's all I care about. No bad people here. That being said, if you are against any of the movements for equality and for love and support, I'm not your girl. Don't even start with me. I'm all love and equalness and fairness, all of it. So, that being said, spread love, spread joy. There are so many people going through very difficult times right now, and another gentle reminder that she's like my sister, Brenda, you've talked, my Muggle Stitchy, non-Stitchy BFF sister. We sometimes feel guilty about feeling bad. We're feeling sad because people are going through much more difficult things than us. You start comparing. It's okay to give you those 5 minutes to not be okay, or that day, or that 2 days, or that unplug, or whatever. Take care of yourself, because that is the most important thing. And then spread love. Spread your happiness, spread your joy, spread good vibes and positivity, because at the end of the day, we need to make this world a better place. And right now it is not a good place. Not good. You can tell by my cross stitching. The brighter and funner that my cross stitching gets, the worse place I am in. So, wish me well, wish us well on our trip and possible stranding in the US while COVID cases are multiplying. And I will likely record little snippets in San Antonio of different things, and I'm hoping to just kind of edit them all together, but I won't record a traditional Flosstube for a while. So I hope if you are missing me and you need me, you can contact me through Instagram, you can drop me a comment here on YouTube, you can subscribe and alert, and any little thing that I can post, I will try my best to. Just be a good person. Be a loving, good person. And don't make headlines for bad things. Okay? See you later, guys. Bye.